I think that William Taylor was a very impressive witness and was very damaging to the president. First of all, as you pointed out, he took very copious notes at almost every conversation. When he put quotes in his opening statement, he said those were direct quotes from what was said. It also doesn't hurt that he has a voice like Edward R. Murrow, so he's a pretty impressive presence up there, and I think very non-political. He went out of his way to talk about what he knew, what he was specifically testament to. The only thing he talked about was a strong feeling that it was in the U.S. national security interests to support Ukraine in the fight against Russia. But he certainly wasn't taking any partisan position.
This is Fox News' Chris Wallace outlining the ways in which Bill Taylor's testimony at the first day of impeachment hearings was so devastating for Trump. And that's because, first and foremost, just like the rest of the officials that have been privately deposed and will publicly testify, Bill Taylor is a model witness. He is a West Point grad, a Vietnam War veteran, and was appointed to positions by multiple Republican presidents, including Reagan and Bush, not to mention Donald Trump. He's worked in the Department of Energy and the Department of Defense. He is a lifelong, nonpartisan public official, and that is why the White House is so afraid of him. The Trump administration's entire MO is to vilify its perceived enemies. From Hillary Clinton to Adam Schiff, they need someone to attack and discredit to try and absolve themselves. That's why they're so desperate to find out the identity of the whistleblower. They're truly under the impression that if they can prove that the whistleblower is a partisan, despite the fact that the whistleblower complaint has already been corroborated, that it'll somehow discredit the allegations by association. But Bill Taylor's reputation is sterling, and the White House just can't deal with the fact that for once, they might not be able to ruin someone's life for their own personal benefit. But what's worse is that his testimony itself was as nonpartisan as he is, a point that I'm certain infuriated the right. Because A, I'm sure they can't wrap their heads around the very notion that someone could possibly be working on behalf of the good of the country and not just blatantly lying to people to protect themselves and their own interests, and B, their defense of discrediting him as a partisan or as a never-Trumper went out the window. Taylor was clear, concise, and factual, and his long history of service to the United States informed his positions.
Ambassador Taylor, in your decades of military service and diplomatic service representing the United States around the world, have you ever seen another example of foreign aid conditioned on the personal or political interests of the President of the United States?
No, Mr. Goldman, I've not.
There were even moments where Republicans tried to get Bill Taylor to weigh in on the partisan issue of impeachment, and he refused to take the bait.
Are either of you here today to assert there was an impeachable offense in that call? Shout it out. Anyone?
I'm not here to do anything having to do with to decide about impeachment. That is not what either of us are here to do. This is your job.
In fact, Bill Taylor is such a credible witness that Gordon Sondland was forced to revise his testimony to Congress to be aligned with Taylor's, knowing that if he didn't, he'd have perjured himself. In other words, Bill Taylor's testimony is clearly the truth. It's the bar. And this is all a testament to the glaring lack of equivalency between the two sides. Because on one side is Bill Taylor, along with a slate of other sterling witnesses, honest, nonpartisan, lifelong service people and diplomats, and on the other side is an argument being held together with paper clips and bubblegum. Anyone acting in good faith can see that Trump's intention was not to act in Ukraine's best interest as the country battled Russian aggression, but that he was out for himself. You don't hold military aid hostage for public announcements of investigations into your political opponents if you are trying to help that country. Donald Trump doesn't hold a candle to Bill Taylor in terms of service to the United States or our allies. And the fact that Republicans have gone all in along with the White House in a desperate attempt to discredit good people like him on behalf of a corrupt politician like Trump is an absolute tragedy. It will be why decent people will avoid government work and we'll all be worse off for it. So the GOP will continue to dig in their heels to insulate a president going down in flames, but neither the facts nor at least one Fox News host are on their side.